Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FxC Summer Bash. We're getting into the bronze match right now with Mushroom Mike versus Supernova Black. My name is Tara, and as usual, on the caster's bench with me is Jamie and Social.
Well, let's see if we get another Darius, guys. This would be great.
Maybe that Mord. Mord. If we're lucky.
Oh yeah, I'm really hoping for Mordekaiser.
Yeah, start asking for the Mord. You already got your Darius.
I'm glad, but you could have a Juggernaut in almost every role. You could have Skarner in the jungle, Darius in top, and then Mordekaiser AD carry.
I think Glitch has actually played Mordekaiser AD carry a couple times, and he says it's pretty disgusting.
It is. It is.
Alright, so we have a Victor ban on the blue side right now and a Lulu ban on the purple side. And a Skarner ban coming in.
Ooh. Skarner on the blue side ban, which means
they don't want it.
Side, yeah, they don't want it at all.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I still think you should save that for the third ban, just in case, just in case Supernova Black would ban it in the second rotation, then you get an extra ban.
Ah, that's true.
There's an R ban too, which is interesting because Volcaeus played pretty well on the Gnar earlier.
And finally, you have a Janna ban on the blue side. So there goes part of Juggermaw composition.
Almost all the parts are gone now. Lulu, Janna. So.
Yeah, Wolf has played a lot of Janna.
And a Soraka ban. I'm not entirely sure on the Soraka ban. Mushroom Mike hasn't shown that they like playing Soraka. Maybe.
Better safe than sorry, apparently.
Yeah, maybe Supernova Black's just absolutely terrified of Soraka now after that last game.
A Vladimir first pick. That is bold, to say the least.
That is interesting.
It's a little bit of flex. They could put it top or mid.
Oh, Fiora's been left open. This is the time.
This is the time?
You guys are gonna see either... This guy's been playing really well, so I assume that Fiora is just gonna go off this game. Like, Fiora will probably take over the lane if she's against Vladimir. And there's not a lot of good matchups against Fiora. I'm not gonna say anything about who's a possible good matchup into Fiora, just in case someone tries to pick it. But I will hint that it has been played this tournament.
Well, they could swap that Vlad out and throw him in mid if they want to try and counter the Fiora pick. And they brought in a Braum as well.
Yeah, which is interesting. The Braum pick doesn't do a ton to Vladimir. It will block his E, but his Q damage is instant through the shield. His ult damage, of course, ignores, so...
They might just be looking to have the Braum for whatever they're running bottom lane. And Mushroom Mike is currently hovering Lee Sin and Nami. I haven't seen a Nami in a long time. Oh, it looks like they've switched over to Alistar.
And Alistar's a much stronger pick against Braum, in my opinion.
I highly agree with that one. I think the Nami would have been a mistake.
It'd been risky for sure, but...
Yeah, they're taking that Alistar.
But with Janna and Lulu and Soraka all gone, Nami is the only disengaged support kind of left, other than the Alistar. And we got the cheeky Teemo hover.
Alistar's just a little bit more versatile than Nami as well. He can engage and disengage pretty well.
Yeah, and he facilitates turret dives really well too, so that's always an option when you have an Alistar on your team. Now this will be interesting if they pick up the Ezreal, because...
Oh, I'd rather see them pick up the Sivir. We haven't seen a Sivir yet today. Ah, and they do get her.
This will be interesting. They're just trying to guarantee the counter matchup mid, because they don't know if the Vladimir is top or if he is mid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bold if they picked it mid, but they just want to make sure that Parasitic gets the best possible matchup. And they're hovering the Vayne right now on the other side. Vayne is actually a decent pick into Braum.
Looks like they
As
might
well
be
as
taking Talon for mid. Oh, they do!
That is interesting.
I'm excited.
Supernova Black are highly considering a full AD team. I like to caution them against it, personally.
They
Yeah.
really need to get some magic damage.
Mm.
Like, the only other team that ran full AD kind of just ended up not being able to close out the game, even though they played really well.
But Orianna might not be too bad of a pick.
The only issue is Vladimir's actually a really good pick into Orianna because you can actually reliably pool her ultimate.
I'm not really sure if they would actually send Talon top, though.
No, he's just talking about in team fights overall. Like, it's still a good pick
Yeah.
for Vlad. Like, the fact that you can get Vlad through the Ori ult and like onto the backline using pool is pretty important.
They do lock in the Orianna, so it'll be a defensive mid lane that's late game oriented. There's not a lot of ball delivery choices other than Fiora, maybe Gragas, with Sivert trying to speed them up. On the other hand, we have really aggressive mid lane pick, a Vladimir top, and a Vayne.
I don't know. I don't really like Mushroom Mike's comp that much. It's kind of pretty risky.
Yeah, I mean, I like their bottom lane. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of their mid lane, and Vladimir, I'm pretty sure he has a bad matchup against Fiora. Like, the first couple levels might be a bit difficult, but after that, Fiora should just outscale. Because I know Vladimir loses really hard to Irelia, and Fiora can kind of do similar things to Irelia after a few levels in terms of like trades. And at that point, I think Vladimir will lose lane control. But that's assuming that they both play it like perfectly. There is always the option that one of them plays it slightly better or slightly worse than the other one, and it could sway the matchup.
Yeah. I just feel like Supernova Black has way more tools at their disposal. Like, they have multiple forms of engaged in this gauge, and I just feel like Magic Mike has Ouster combo and maybe an Insect, and that's like their hardest form of engage.
Pretty much. The matchup between Lee Sin and Gragas will be interesting because Gragas is like a slightly more defensive early game jungler, but he still does put out a lot of early pressure, whereas Lee Sin is all early game pressure. And then after that, he's mostly just kick bot, kind of. Whereas Gragas, he has max health damage. I mean, Lee Sin arguably does too. But I think Gragas will have a bigger impact in team fights the longer the game goes. So it's kind of on to Mushroom Mike to snowball their aggressive lanes ahead.
Shouldn't be too hard for them to like attempt that with like the Lee Sin and his early ganks, though.
Yeah, because bot lane, Alistar's a good matchup against Braum, and Vayne's a good matchup against Sivir, and if you augment that with your jungler attention down there, it could probably change it. It's probably their plan. They're looking at mid and bot lane, because Vladimir doesn't have a lot of follow up top. He's not really going to set up a gank, he's not really going to lock someone down, or just straight up burst someone.
Yeah. Vlad's main concern in this game is just like staying alive and not feeding this Fiora.
That's usually how Vladimir plays, is you just want to stay alive and scale. Because basically you just want to slowly whittle down the other laner and then sustain up and stay alive, because you will get ridiculous amounts of health back once you have a lot of AP items done, some CDR under your belt, and then it'll be really difficult to actually take down the Vladimir, and he also outputs a lot of damage. And if that damage isn't really avoidable, it's all just like point and click damage for the most part. Like his only skill shot is technically his ultimate, and even then that's really easy to land. I mean, it could be argued his pool isn't a skill shot too. You gotta flash in for the flash pool plays.
Oh,
I didn't
I mean-
realize that pooling was a skill shot.
It's a bit more. I think it's a bit more damage than the flash auto attack from Nunu that we've seen in NALCS, but I still wouldn't advise it.
You flash it and then use your only way of escape to just attack everyone. Yay.
But I do think Mushroom Mike has the advantage on the the bottom half of the map. The top half is definitely in Supernova Black's favor. The team fights will be interesting to say the least. Mostly because Mushroom Mike's comp is... It's going to be very weird in how they operate.
yeah. I really want to snowball this Talon and get him going, and that can make their jobs a lot easier, I think. Just clean up after the Talon.
Yeah.
Wreak some damage.
Like Talon for the first few levels is kind of... there's a lack of pressure. But then after then, like once he gets ultimate, he actually starts doing decent amounts of damage. And then he can snowball really hard if he roams.
Yeah, you would know. I've seen you absolutely destroy people on Talon before.
Right now I don't know how Talon does, simply because like Juggernauts are everywhere. Alistar's a really popular pick. If you try and go in on Talon, he just headbutts you out and you're nullified. Luckily they have the Alistar this time, so it's all up to the Gragas to disengage, I guess.
Can the Braum ult nullify the Talon?
You can knock him up, but it won't get him out of the fight usually. We actually have a cloth 5-star on Vladimir, so Vladimir is expecting a very defensive lane where he just wants to farm and survive. Which I agree with, that one's fine. Orianna went with a very weird buy. That is extremely weird.
Yeah, she went cloth armor.
She went cloth armor, a mana potion, and a bunch of biscuits. That is interesting. She has 41 armor, which is the same as, almost the same as Gragas has, and less than Braum.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
That is a really weird first start. Unless she's really expecting Talon to be super aggressive with her early in the game.
Yeah, but normally he isn't. He just gets flask and potions, which he did, and just kind of, you know, passively
Yeah.
farms to a good point.
Sustain till 6, basically.
Yeah, the Orianna might not know the Talon matchup very well, though.
They should have been paired against us more than when I was on the team. Then they'd know the matchup. Orianna is running barrier though.
Yeah, she's definitely going for a super safe lane, or she's attempting to anyways.
Yeah.
Personally, I prefer exhaust, but barrier's also decent because if Talon does go invisible and you can't exhaust him, then could be bad.
Mushroom Mike's doing the double jungle once again.
They really do like that double jungle.
Yeah, and Vladimir has the cloth 5, so he actually doesn't mind this too bad. He He already hit level 2 a while ago, apparently.
Yeah, they
This
gave
is
him all of the Gromp. They gave him all of the Gromp XP.
Oh, that is interesting. They give him all the Gromp and then give Lee Sin all of the blue.
Yeah, they did that the last time we watched them too.
Most of the double jungles I see, they both take the Gromp, and then they both take the blue, so that they both hit level 2 at the same time. But that one's also an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah,
It gives Vladimir a bunch of early starting gold.
could just be their style for it, whatever works with them.
Now, the
Sivir
difference-
and Braum are actually pushing Vayne and Alistar in under their turret.
Yeah, Vayne needs a few levels to get going at first because Sivir just shoves. The top lane's kind of interesting though, because this is different from most of the other double jungle games we watched. Like in particular, that one where it was Gnar against Trundle, and Gnar teleported top and then got ganked right away. What happened is, in that game, the Trundle actually had frozen the wave, kind of, so Gnar had to push up, so it let him gank, but this time the Fiora's actually pushed in the Vladimir, so that even though Vladimir teleported up, he didn't have to push out aggressively. The wave's shoving out now though, so Vladimir, if he wants to push up any further, has to really pay attention to that ward, because
He
he
hasn't
could get
even,
caught out again.
yeah, he hasn't even put his ward down yet though, so he doesn't have any vision.
Yeah, this is probably the last safe wave. After that, he has to have some type of vision. He's not even going to... Oh, he's
Oh, he's
down.
moving to do it now.
Yay!
Vayne's actually really low on health. She's been taking weird trades, apparently. But now there's a bunch of damage onto Alistar, so it's not so bad.
Braum also took a lot of damage during that trade, and Lee Sin is now bottom. He's looking for a gank. Alistar goes in, Braum gets exhausted, Lee Sin goes in, the heal is down.
Ooh.
Vayne
First
gets
blood.
first blood. That is really going to help that Vayne out a lot.
While it was happening, there's a gank top. Gragas tried to flash E the Vlad, but the Vlad just pooled it. They should have known the cooldown timers of that, and top lane should have communicated that so he didn't waste the flash on the Gragas.
That is a
Mhm.
really weird trade that he would waste his flash.
The good part, though, is it did force Vladimir to back, and...
But
Fiora
they're
has-
going in on Sivir. Alistar just got
Wow.
the headbutt pulverize, and
He flashed pulverized for that.
yeah, Vayne. That's 2 kills now for Vayne. She is really going to start snowballing off of that if they're not careful.
And that's what I thought
Yeah.
Mushroom Mike might be doing, is getting this Vayne ahead, because Vayne is really good into the Sivir matchup, and she's actually pretty good against Braum too, because you can't block the true damage, and she's good against Gragas, and so Vayne is really their best outlet into carrying.
August is in mid here. He's looking for a gank. Talon just went in on Ori though. She has no mana.
Lee Sin's there as well. Ooh, he looked for the cube and missed.
Settles down a bit. At this point, Fiora's actually gotten a decent minion lead and has the wave frozen in her favor, so Vladimir's actually really scared about being up this far, and still hasn't put his ward down, out of all things.
He did put his ward down.
He has it still in there, but
Oh,
he should
that's-
put one in the try
Yeah.
if he wants
Yeah,
to
he
be
should
up
put it in
that
the try.
far.
He's probably trying to hold on to it for when that one burns out.
Yeah.
Luckily, he is getting decent trades.
Yeah, he does know that Gragas was just mid too, so he probably feels a little safer for maybe like another
Yeah.
minute.
True.
That's fair. Sivir's pushed in Vayne again, but I don't think Vayne minds too much because she's already ahead in CS and has all this to clean up under the tower.